So, hello, Gaurav. I want to
Hello,
congratulate
Aditya.
you for your CTO conversion of Fidelity Investments.
Thanks a lot.
So, tell us more about yourself, Gaurav.
So, hello everyone. My name is Gaurav Alavat. I'm a fourth year BTech from IT at NITK. And at the time of placements, my CGPA is 1.12. But a year prior to that, third year in which I got my internship, my CGPA stands at 6.82. So that concludes my college life in a nutshell because that's all you need to know about me. Moving
Hmm.
on, next question.
Okay. So, Gaurav, what was the procedure to apply for the internship?
As you know, the Fidelity came to our campus, so there was an on-campus placement. So we had to, there is some Iris kind of thing, which is an online portal for NITK students. So there I was eligible for applying to the Fidelity because the CGPA cutoff was 0 and it was open to all branches. So I applied there, and then there was this aptitude test plus coding test. So coding test was easy and aptitude test was also pretty easy. It was not that hard. After that, we got shortlisted in an interview, and then I got selected for that.
Okay. So, Gaurav, from which sources did you prepare for the internship?
Yes, so see, there's not one concrete source which will cover all of your topics, so you will have to look for other sources as well. For Knowledge Gate, I refer to Knowledge Gate and Knowledge Gate for OS. Yeah, most of you must know that Knowledge Gate is a pretty good channel for OS topics. Same for the DBMS. So OS and DBMS I prepared from there, and then DSA I prepared from Geeks and Geek, and then interview bit code forces, and I've been a regular member of code competitive programming. So that's what it has been, a continuous effort. It's not like I just picked one set and then I came from that. But I would say interview bit was very close, that kind of question, and lead code as well. Lead code and interview bit for
Oh,
DSA and coding questions, I would say.
okay. So, Gaurav, what is your opinion on how can an individual clear the technical test, technical interview, and HR interview?
So, in my opinion, a first year or a second year needs to be consistent. He needs to be thorough with his core topics, like in the OS, DBMS, networking, DSA, DA, because these are the core things, and the problem-solving skills can be developed through these subjects as well. So, a candidate needs to be thorough in this, and he needs to be quick with this. Like, there's a phrase like thinking on your feet. So, you might get some tricky problems or some out-of-the-box thinking might be required. So, you need to be that's why I would recommend you do competitive programming. That's where you get a time limit and you have to prepare a lot of questions in a set limit of time. So competitive programming and some regular touch and go with your subjects. That's what I would say is very essential.
And for technical interview?
For technical interview, I would recommend Geeks for Geeks. The GFG is a pretty good website because you get a lot of questions. The community is very helpful. So you get, let's say you are preparing for Fidelity. So you can search on the GFG website, the previous Fidelity internship experiences. And you can look through all the questions, like how many questions or what kind of questions the Fidelity has asked. So you can always go and prepare for yourself. As you might know, Fidelity asks a lot of questions based on your resume, so they focus a lot on your resume. So I read through some reviews on the Fidelity on the GFG website, and I was prepared for I had my resume memorized, like all the projects, how I do it, why did I do it, and what was the other way around, why did I choose this particular thing. So that way GFG is a very good resourceful website.
Okay. And regarding the HR interview, so is it something new for Fidelity, or is it like the same old cliche HR interview? Why should we hire you?
I wouldn't say it's a big cliche, but yeah, they look for a candidate which has good communication skills, which can a candidate which can fit right through in the team. Because as you might know, the software development is a very team-oriented work. You need to be, you need to work in a big lot of teams, like some 5-10 people's team as they are continuously working on a single project. So you need to have a good communication skills so you can put your point out using minimum effort and not waste others' time as well. So they focus a lot on your communication skills, also on your presentation skill as to how you present yourself, how you are a candidate outside the Fidelity. What are your traits? Does your traits make you a successful employee for them or not? So it's kind of all cliche thing, but yeah, they look for certain other things as well.
Okay. So can you give some advice for your junior fellows?
For junior fellows, I would just say like don't lie on your resume first of all. Like don't mention some big of the topics things like I know Git, I know this, I know Babel, I know JavaScript. Be honest with yourself. Like if you know some limited topics, put it all out there. There's no hassle for you. Like nobody is requiring to know 10 languages. Like you should know Java, JavaScript, Python right out of the bat, because they will teach you that. What they are looking for is a candidate who can learn very quickly and adapt to the system. So that's what I would say. Focus on your core subject and focus on your problem solving skills as well. Not to look out, like not to get attracted. Okay, I will learn Angular, React, Vue, all of this at the same time. I will learn Django, JavaScript, Node.js. That's not required. What they require is just a problem solving candidate who can look through a problem and come with creative solution. That's what.
Okay.
So I would say prepare well for your core subjects, and competitive programming is the way to go.
So any particular advice for first year students, second year students, and third year students?
First year students, you need to focus. As I might recall, our curriculum has changed for NITK. So now you can pick a minor as well. So if you pick IT as a minor, you can learn DBMS in your first year as well. DBMS or OS, OOPS kind of thing you can learn in first year. So if you're picking IT as a minor, be thorough with that. Be honest with your performance, and take it as an adventure, not just an opportunity to learn and earn CGP, earn a good knowledge as well. So be honest with you. If I'm being honest with you, you need to thorough with your programming skills as well. You need to know good pointers. What are the pointers as well? So you need to cover your basics first. Other than thinking outside things like, okay, I will do this, I will do this. First, you need to cover your basics. If you cover your basics, OS, do DBMS, OOPS, DSA, and DA, other things will follow. You can learn other things very quickly because these are the very foundation and the very basics. So you need to be thorough in this.
And for second years?
And same for the second years as well. Same for the second years as well, because they are in the shape where they will learn about the IT industry, where they will learn they will get through the IT projects kind of thing. If I'm talking about the IT students and other branches as well, because you have your lab core subjects as well. Like if I'm talking about a mechanical guy, he gets a lot of subjects, or a civil guy. They don't have much time to prepare for other things like programming and other things. So you need to manage your time well, but it's still cover the basics first.
So no need to do the competitive programming the whole year. Only you can do in vacation also.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because once you learn about the binary trees, the BSTs, all those things, these are competitive programming is nothing but just an application part. Like you are given a problem and you have to do it in a set amount of time. In one internship or whatever the other things are, you're given a problem and you don't have a particular time limit on that. Competitive programming makes you think in a time limit and adds the pressure on you that you have to do this particular solution in 2 hours or in 2 minutes. Otherwise, you will lag behind your peers, so to say. So I would recommend competitive programming. It puts you in that mindset of that problem solving skills. So competitive programming is a must. Like you should do 1 or 2 hours. I wouldn't say 1 or 2 hours daily, but yeah, 7 or 8 hours like in a week. That I would say would
Okay.
be more than sufficient.
Okay. So which other branches are also eligible for the internship of Fidelity?
Fidelity is open to all branches as far as I can remember, because we had a guy with from mining and mechanical who was also interning with us. So Fidelity is not restrictive to any branches, so it's inclusive to all.
Okay. So Gaurav, in which profile you got the internship?
I got the internship as a SDE, software development engineer, and there is other intern profile as well, that is data scientist, in which you get to know about the ML and machine learning, and data science and all those kind of things. So the Fidelity doesn't let the interns go through the data scientist part. They will offer you that job once you become an FTE. But for an intern, they will let you do the developer work on it, not some research and ML related work.
Okay. So Gaurav, what were your day-to-day responsibilities during the internship?
So there was this project in which a migration project was there. Fidelity was moving from one kind of services to the other. So what my tasks were, so I had to make sure the transition was smooth. I had to build a platform which could talk to this service, uh, take this service as an input and produce the output in that service, which was required. So I had to kind of build an intermediate. So a day-to-day services was like getting a chat with the team. We used to have a daily stand-up meeting at 11 a.m. and we discussed about the goals we've achieved and the things we are still left to do. So the team was very friendly, and the day-to-day task was just 11 a.m. meeting as well. That's it. Like they would give me the daily tasks, like the tasks that are yet to be finished, and I would focus on that. That's
So
just it.
there's no restriction on working hours like 9 to 5 or 8 7.
Nothing like that. Instead, they all mentioned to me like you had to stop working at 7 and enjoy your life afterwards, because there is also a life at after Fidelity, or as you get my point, so to say, because these people are very they are very friendly, so because they know outside like the for an intern this pressure can be very much. Also, we are in this COVID time, so they were making sure that I won't getting stressed out or like burnout. So
Okay.
they were making sure I was getting enough time to chill.
Okay. So which skills and language you use during your internship?
So basically, I used Angular for my front end because that's what the major part was about, because I had to convert and show the results. So the user interface was very important.
Hmm.
So I chose Angular for that, but I had not any restrictions. They uh, they left me free for that because I was free to choose any UI interface I want. I could have gone for React or Vue, but I thought Angular would be a good choice because I had some prior experience in TypeScript and Angular framework. Also, I had to design a backend for my application, which could talk to the left-hand service and convert it to the right hand, and then give the results to the UI interface. So I chose Python for that. In that respect, also, I was free to choose any language. I chose Python because it's a very easy language, so to say. You could get the work done in very few lines, and it's very easy to read and all. So I thought it might be a good choice for me. So I chose Angular and Python. That's it. That's what the
Okay.
skills I require.
Okay. So Gaurav, what did you expect from Fidelity before joining this internship?
So what I expected was crazy party times, going for a trip and having some fun with all, and the least amount of work. But the only thing of which I got was least amount of work because due to this COVID times, we could not go out, we could not celebrate. All we had was our virtual meetings. All every Friday we used to have some fun Friday kind of event where we would draw and where like chat with each other, chat with other interns, chat with our senior managers. So it was very fun, quite fun, but not what I quite expected of it. And Fidelity is not to be blamed for it. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah, it's just act of God.
act of God.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that if you had some other skills, then the internship would have been more fruitful for you, technical or non-technical?
Yeah, I would say if I had some more Python related skills, because most of my time was consumed in designing backend. Because as I mentioned, I had some experience in Angular. So Angular was easy for me. It was not that hard. But Python, I had to Python consumed my lot of time. So I had to make sure I was designing the backend properly so it could be used again, not just for this particular application, but for other applications as well. So that consumed my time a lot because I did not have experience in Flask. I had experience in Python, but Flask is a framework which you use when you write a API or a backend kind of thing. So I had to make sure I was designing a reusable code kind of thing. So that's what consumed a lot of time there.
Okay. So how was your experience with the Fidelity, overall experience?
Overall experience, if I were to rate the Fidelity experience, I would rate it 9 out of 10.
And
If I'm talking about the rating, but yeah, overall experience was very good. I was assigned some mentors and my buddies were there. Also, my manager was very helpful to me. So he was there with me at every step to guide me and to tell me about how to go about the projects. Because I was new to the software development world, you might not know this, but I was the only intern on my team. So there was not anybody with whom I could relate about my feelings, or like you suddenly get overwhelmed by this project kind of things. Like you are the all alone and you have to do all the things by yourself. You have to design and implement all the things by yourself. So it can get overwhelming at times. So that's why you need good people around you who can support you and keep you at bay. So overall, I'm very impressed by the Fidelity experience.
Okay. So what are the do's and don'ts while you want to suggest someone who is current who will join the Fidelity in the future?
There are not kind of strict do's and don'ts. This just be punctual about your deadlines. If someone is expecting you to finish your work by tomorrow, do finish it by tomorrow. Otherwise, that other person's schedule also get delayed. You might also not know this, but there is a kind of cascading effect. If you don't finish your deadline and the work has to be laid off to someone else, then all the below things or the upper things get disturbed. So when you work in an organization, there is a lot of responsibility and pressure on you to deliver on time. Otherwise, the things might not work in a normal way. So the only don't I would say is be punctual about your deadline, and do's is whatever you want. And as long as you finish your work, nobody cares what are you doing and how are you doing. There is
Okay.
just no restrictions out there.
Okay. So what are your suggestions for a tier 3 college student to crack the internship of Fidelity?
See, as far as I know, there were many tier 3 colleges people as well with me in this internship. There were some IIT people as well, some NIT, and some tier 3 people as well. So I wouldn't say there is any kind of tier 3, tier 2. Fidelity doesn't care about that. Only thing the Fidelity cares about is whether you have the talent and the dedication to work at the Fidelity. So you just need to develop a culture around you. You need to be punctual about your deadlines and kind of things, and you to be prepared constantly. So be thorough with your preparation, and it doesn't matter whether you are coming from a tier 3 college or you are IITian. If you can solve the question, you get selected. If you don't, you are out. That's it. As simple as that.
Okay, Gaurav. So next question. Um, so does CGPA matter? Because you have CGPA less than 7, and all the people I interviewed, they
Yeah,
all have CGPA above 7.
I would say it matter because all the first year, second year, I was told that CGPA does not matter if you have enough skills. But even if I did have the skills, it didn't matter because I was able to give just two tests because Fidelity was just my second test, and I was lucky enough to clear it out because I did have the skills, but I did not have the CGPA. So what I would recommend is don't follow the herd that says that CGPA does not matter. Follow the skills. Of course, you need to have skills, but you also need to have the CGPA. It's like people saying money doesn't matter. Of course, it matters, but it's a limit. In the limit, it matters. Like if you are above 9.5 and you're still aiming for the 10th, it does not matter for a company. Like if you are above 8, it's okay. You're just adding to your satisfaction to satisfy your ego then.
Okay.
So
So
it does matter. Keep it safe, play it safe, keep it above 8.5 or 8, and you will be safe. But at the same time, you need to also have skills. That's
So
all.
what is the threshold of a good CGPA for a tier 3 college student? As you mentioned, there are people
I would
from tier 3.
say because you are coming to from a tier 3. See, the companies why they are so lenient on a tier 1 college, and they can sometimes relax the CGPA condition is because they know the candidate has come through the JE or the tough time, so he can manage through the hard work and he can preserve. But for a tier 3 student, this not might be the first impression that they get. So what they absolutely need a good CGPA. I would recommend above 9 or 9.5. So because in college environment, it's very difficult to get 9 or 9.5. You need to
Right.
be consistent with each and every subject and through every semester. So if you are coming with a 9.5 CGPA, it shows that you can preserve in this hard competitive world, and you are already giving your best at whatever level you could. So a high CGPA for a tier 3 college, I would guess, would do a lot of good for him.
And for like for our college, for tier 1 college, I think 7.
Yeah, I would guess 7 would be more than suffice because I'm a 6 pointer, as you know, 6.8. But that point did not even arise because they in my technical interview, the interview was so impressed with my project, so he did not even looked at my CGPA. Once you see in our tier 1 colleges, if I am being honest, the CGPA is just for clearing the first round, like if you are able to apply or not. That's all. After that, they don't look at your CGP or care about you, like why are you a 7 pointer, why are you a 6 pointer. They won't ask you that. They will just give you questions and they will hope for the answer. If you're able to give the answer, it's good. Otherwise, it's no good point being 9-pointer or 8-pointer.
Okay. So Gaurav, any advice you want to give to juniors from your 3-year experience?
From my 3 years experience, I would say don't slack off. Don't sleep on your CGPA. It's good to be maintaining a good CGPA, and just practice thoroughly and slowly. Because if you we engineers have this problem of preparing one night before the exam, so we get into the habit of procrastinating the work on till the very last deadline. So I would not recommend that. Please be punctual and do the work regularly at the regular basis, and you'll be very fine. That's not be a problem.
Any other piece of advice you want to give, or any other experience you want to share?
Um, I don't think so. Everyone is free to follow their own path. I don't think they need to follow someone else's advice. So live the life the way you want. Follow whatever you have. It's not like the worked for me will work for you. Everyone has their own path, and it will take some time to carve out your own path. But don't be in such a hurry. Things will look fine. Once you look back, you will say, "Oh, what I was worrying about were very little things." So I would say just follow your path. It's not like you have to follow the footsteps of someone else. Just try out and pick what best works for you. That's what the best advice would be.
Okay. So on that note, we should wrap the interview. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for your time and sharing your
Thank
experience.
you.
Okay.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me, Nafal. Thanks.
Bye.